You are Locked On Astros Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Houston on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Just what the doctor ordered for the Astros tonight. Justin Verlander returns. Solid 2024 debut. The bats look a lot better, and the bullpen almost perfect as the Astros pick up a very needed win to kick off the 3-game series against the Washington Nationals. Thank you for joining us for the Locked On Astros Postcast here on the Locked On Network, live on YouTube, Locked On Sports Houston. If you are new to the channel, of course, hit the subscribe button. If you're listening to this on a podcast, well, you can get this anywhere that you find your podcast. Search for Locked On Astros. You'll see these shows titled as Postcast, and then the title of it, of course. And you can come and find the YouTube channel from there if you're listening to this for the first time. We do appreciate it. This episode tonight is brought to you by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code, all lowercase, LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. So we have a lot to kind of go through. And I want to designate a good period of time for Verlander alone, which we'll do in a minute, because he was really good tonight. Really, really solid. Everything that the Astros needed. But more than anything else, we have to talk about the overall win that you had to have. This team absolutely had to have this victory, and they got it. Yes, a little too stressful there in the ninth inning. I'm at the point, though, where I guess beggars can't be choosers with this baseball team. And based on the way that they've played so far this season, they won. I'm not going to complain too much tonight. They took care of business against a team that they are way superior than, even if the records were not that going into tonight. Astros now 7-14. Nationals fall 8-11. So they're still the better team on paper with the record. But the Astros are the better team. We all know that. So if they go out and they win a couple more ball games like this, I'm fine with it. What I walk away with is that overall, again, they played a solid baseball game. Very, very solid baseball game. And this team needs to piece together solid baseball games. There's going to be people out there that are going to go, well, they're doing this against all the bad teams because now they're in a period of schedule where they're going to play the bad teams. That's okay. Sometimes you need to get right teams in your life. They got through a very brutal stretch. Now, look, overall, against Texas, going 4-3 in 7 games, I'll take it early in the season, given all the issues that the Astros have. You know, I'm still trying to wrap my head around this completely, and I didn't really comprehend it until I heard it again earlier. This is the 3rd worst start in Astros franchise history. It's mind-boggling that they've been this bad. But they did figure it out tonight, and that's okay. And they will figure it out to an extent. Is it butterflies and rainbows again because they had one night with Verlander back? No, not at all. Not one bit. But it was a sigh of relief night outside again of the ninth inning. I mean, you couldn't have asked for, if Hader had had a great ninth inning, I think you would have had the perfect night that we all in the city of Houston needed to have in terms of being able to feel a lot better. You're not going to feel way better until this team gets back to 500, of course, but they had the really solid outing from a guy that's been their ace for years now. They had Brian Abreu come in behind him. It's how we talked about it all offseason for this Astros team after they signed Hader. Just imagine it. The starter goes 6. They hand it off to Abreu, Presley, Hader, whatever order it might be. And it was that tonight. It was Verlander for 6 strong innings. It was Abreu for a strong inning. It was Presley bouncing back with a strong inning. And then Josh Hader kind of said, hold my beer. But again, with where this team is at right now and how they've played this season, I will not complain too much on this evening. There are certain things that, yes, you can nitpick and whatnot, but they had 13 hits tonight, Sure. Could they have had a few more runs off of that? Absolutely. You get 13 hits in a baseball game, you feel like you're going to get a lot more. But they jumped on the starter early, Mackenzie Gore of the Nationals. They got 3 runs in the second inning. They put the Nationals on the back heels. They gave Verlander the breathing room, and this was Astros baseball. So again, you score 5 runs, that's okay. We're all going to live with the 5 runs in these situations. And tonight, runners in scoring position, not horrific. 5 of 12, left on base 8. You take it. You'll absolutely take it. And you'll take what you got behind him. Again, with Abreu and with Presley. And even though Hader's job was this, correct? To go in there and close out the baseball game. He had a 3-run lead. All he had to do was protect a 3-run lead. He did that. He only gave up 1 run tonight. It's still mind-boggling when you look at the ERAs of all these 3 guys at the back end of this bullpen, and you go, oh, Brian Abreu, he's at 540 now. Ryan Presley, 822. Josh Hader's went up tonight to 838. That's okay. One day it'll be back down to like the 2s. I don't know if he's going to be sub-2 this year. He did this last year with the Padres. He had a rough start. His ERA ballooned in April, and then it was just nails after that. So we'll see. It's also good for him to get an opportunity to actually get a save. It's only a second save. It's April the 20th or the 19th. I should know the date. Tomorrow's my anniversary. It's the 19th, and he's getting his second save of the season. How? What world are we living in? Oh, wait, that's the world that the Astros have gone out there and not taking care of their business this year and falling on their faces. And as I mentioned, though, now, they're playing, for a lack of a better term, a schedule with some slump busters. And sometimes you just need the slump buster in your life. They got the Nationals this weekend. This is a road trip now. They're going to Chicago. Chicago's not bad. I shouldn't call the Cubs a slump buster. That's going to be a tough series. In Chicago, I'm sure the weather's still going to be cold there. It's cold tonight in D.C. Then they're going down to Mexico City to take on the Rockies, who are off to the worst start they've ever had. If they don't go to Mexico City in a place where the ball's going to fly and blitz the Rockies, who can't pitch, they've actually been worse than the Astros this year. And if they can't do that for 2 games, Houston, I'm not going to say that. No, we don't say that. I'm a lifelong Houstonian. I'm a native Houstonian. I should know you don't say those things. But you will have a problem at that point. I don't think that will be the issue. I think that they'll probably handle that. But this is still a road stretch here, where, look, for one, this team last year was far more comfortable on the road for whatever reason. Tonight, they look like that team. And if they can go out there and figure out how to do it again tomorrow, back it up. That's baseball. That's the repetition of baseball. You got to find a way to snowball it. And you put one good foot down, the next day, the next foot comes down, and it comes down well again. And then before you know it, hey, if they want to reel off a winning streak and get back to 500, who's going to say no? Let me ask you. Good news tonight, too, in the division. The Rangers, they were losing. They're going to lose. They're in the 9th inning to the Braves. Hey, go Braves. Go Braves, go. They're up 8-3. So the Astros will gain a game. If you're an early season AL West standings watch, the Astros are going to move to 4 games out of the division race. Oh, baby, they're back. They sweep the Nationals this weekend. I won't say they're back, but I think like all of you, I will be able to go to sleep at night and be a little bit happier. Because some of these shows recently, when we finish them, it's like, oh my goodness, I want to take my head and slam it in this wall behind me, or one of these bobbleheads and throw it against another wall, whatever it is. Don't have to do that tonight. Tonight I can be happy. We can go have a glass of wine and hang out, and it's going to be a great, great night. Thank you again to every single one of you that's joining us live tonight on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. It is growing very rapidly. I am very appreciative of all the views and the numbers that we've been getting for all you watching live every single time. If you're finding this on podcasts, you can find this anywhere that you get your podcast. Search for Locked On Astros. You'll see these postcast shows posted right there, along with what the Locked On Astros guys have for you every single day as well, Monday through Friday. They do great stuff. So check out both of these podcasts, and you'll be golden. Let's talk now Justin Verlander. He's back, baby. The Astros ace, and boy, oh boy, did it feel good. But right now, people, I need to tell you about FanDuel. It's playoff time in the NBA and NHL. Baseball's in full swing, and FanDuel is your place to bet on every game. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150 win or lose. Bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks, all on an app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/locked-on and make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Hi there. Welcome back to the Locked On Astros Postcast. Thank you for joining us again tonight here on YouTube live. You can watch us every single game, just about every single game. There is going to be a game at some point that I'm going to take off. We've not taken a single game off since we've started this. I don't plan on missing any in the month of April with the schedule the way it kind of lines up. So get ready. A lot more of me coming up with the next few weeks. And then the month of May, they only have 2 nights off, so I'll probably take a game off. Sorry. Well, we'll see. I'm not going to commit to anything. I might commit to every single one of the games because I'm having a great time doing this with you guys right here on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button, like I mentioned. Find this anywhere that you get your podcast. Locked On Astros is what you're searching for to find it. The Astros tonight with the 5-3 win, necessary, very necessary to go on the road. And you know what? It's also nice, that the Astros were able to win tonight, where the Nationals were celebrating their 5-year anniversary of winning the World Series over the Astros. It's later this year, but they're celebrating it tonight, of course, because the Astros are in town. That one still stings. I'm not going to lie. It stings a lot. I don't think I'm ever going to get eventually it depends on, I guess, where you were in your life. I got over the White Sox World Series pretty quickly because I was 15 years old when that happened. Obviously 2017 was unbelievable. That 2019 still pains me. I don't even really worry about 2021 anymore, losing to the Braves. I think mainly because you came back the next year and you won it. But you still look at some of these and you go, good Lord. I mean, think if they'd won one more. If they'd won the 2019 World Series, which they should have, because the Nationals since then have not had a winning season. They're a bad franchise. They got on a heater that year. They got on a heater in the postseason, and then the most bizarre thing happened. This trend where the Astros don't win home games started that year. It was unbelievable. Verlander was part of the problem in that series. But you know what? Verlander was not a problem for the Astros tonight. Justin Verlander returns. He was just Justin Verlander. I was really impressed. Now, look, you don't take rehab starts seriously in terms of results overall. He gave up a lot of runs those rehab starts, though. There's going to be bumps in the road. Look, he's a different pitcher now than even what he was when he came back from Tommy John in 2022 and won the Cy Young. He's becoming less power. He's got power. He can still reach back and get 95 plus if he wants to. He just doesn't. He is a guy that is, you see, there's a little bit more ground ball found in the mix. He's using a changeup he really went out in those rehab starts and worked on. And, that's a guy that's later in his career that has to start adapting. He's a 41-year-old pitcher. He's not 26 throwing 98 miles an hour anymore. It just isn't. He's not even the 34, 35-year-old Verlander when they got him. He threw a lot harder then. He was more power then than he is now. I mean, look, 2019 season, he was a 300 strikeout guy. Maybe there were some substances on the baseball. That's okay. Everybody was doing it. Everybody in the sport was. But he was a 300 strikeout guy. You know what he was tonight? He was everything that he always is. Solo home run, doesn't give up a lot of hits, doesn't walk anybody, only had 4 strikeouts. Strikeout numbers are never going to be what they used to be, and that's okay. But he limits the action on the base pass, and he pitched extremely sharp. And I think that was a great thing. I thought last year, you saw it with the Mets when he came back from the injury. He never felt like he got completely sharp. Towards the end of the season with the Astros, he got sharp again, and then he got sharp again in the postseason. He actually pitched really well in the postseason last year, which was awesome. But to come out tonight and to really look like he had good command of everything, fastball, slider, changeup. I mean, it was everything crisp, curveball. I mean, he looked like he was in command. And if that's the guy that's showing up, good Lord, do they need him in the worst way possible because of the starting pitching that they've had this season. The starting pitching has just been bad. I mean, it's been the worst in the league, again, outside of the Colorado Rockies bad. So if he can come back and be this guy consistently, guess what's going to happen most times he goes out there? They're going to win. And these are the things that stop losing streaks. When you have a guy that can go out there and can do this consistently every time, 6 to 7 innings, no runs, 1 run, 2 runs, 3 runs max, and he's giving you a chance to win, and he hands it off to a bullpen that if they're doing their job and performing to their capabilities at the back end, when they're all available like they were tonight, but if they do it all together, same time, it's going to be great. Absolutely great. You add into the mix, it sounds like Framber has a chance to return during this road trip, and you can finally start to see the, now I'm not going to say the light at the end of the tunnel yet, maybe just like a hint of it, but not like a full light. Because if you can get those two guys into your rotation with Christian Javier, you're going to be able to survive. You're going to be able to win a lot of baseball games again. And you're going to be able to piece this thing back together to where you can start creeping back towards 500. Of course, that's also going to mean that Hunter Brown continues what he did in his last start. That means that JP France continues to be solid like he was in his last start. And this thing can get going in the right direction. Of course, all of this hinges on the offense doing anything. And they did enough tonight. They hit the ball around a lot. They found their way. It was a very encouraging night overall, even if the big results were not always there. But Verlander, to me, one of the stars of the night, clearly, because this is what you have him for, have always had him for. It wasn't a good trade. We can all admit it. It's okay. You gave up your 2 best prospects for him. It'll be good if they win another World Series, which it looked like last year. Hey, they're going to go back, and you're never going to be worried about this trade again. Be nice if they go back to the World Series this year. Long way from getting to that point. But this is why they've always had him. And you need that guy. Like, for as good as Framber is overall, and as good as he's been for a lengthy period of time now with the Astros, and how, he took the 2022 season, and that postseason really, and he became the ace of the staff that year, and Verlander kind of, faded to the side. But he's, at the end of the day, he's still not Justin Verlander. And there's just a different mental edge with a guy like this compared to everybody else in this rotation. And it's what they're lacking. And it's just nice to have that mentality back out there on the mound. And again, even if he's 41 years old at this point and the things or the stuff isn't what it used to be, the power stuff isn't what it used to be, there's still good bites, still good velocity on the slider, which is good. I think he's throwing that thing like 86 tonight. He's still getting on top of it. He's still spinning it quite a bit. He's always had that big looping curveball that can really devastate and freeze a hitter. And then again, I like Christian Javier has done, I like the starting to utilize a changeup because it's a different look. And it's a good pitch if you can execute it, especially against right-handed hitters down and in when you got to get ahead in the count or want to get ahead in the count. They always call that the big FU pitch. You can throw a changeup 0-0 and spot it, and that hitter's jelly-legged and has no idea. Then you're just throwing him off. But he's always executed at a level of getting guys off balance and getting ahead of guys. And I just think that you saw every bit of that tonight. And it was just, to me, such an encouraging sign for what is to come for him, and hopefully a very big season, because there is the potential this is last in Houston, which, we've said that before, and look what happened. I don't think it'll be his last. I think he's probably going to end up finishing out his career here at this point, but even if it was, of course, the option will vest if he hits 140 innings, so he ended up not missing too many turns to the rotation. I like his odds of getting to that number and being able to vest that option, but look, I always try to remind myself, even if he's 41 years old now and he's not the guy he used to be, it's like Altuve. We are in the presence of, as fans, in terms of the team that we root for, a living legend. I mean, Verlander's one of the greatest pitchers to ever touch a baseball. And I love it. Every single second of getting to watch him, just like watching Altuve at the plate. I try to just soak in what he's got, and more often than not, it's great stuff that we all very much enjoy. And I think that tonight was another one of those nights. Again, it was a good landing spot for him tonight against the Washington Nationals, a team that Like you saw it, he had a great pickoff there in I can't remember the inning off the top of my head now, but it was a great play there. He's very heady of him to see it and to know the situation that was going on behind him and get that play done there to get that out, and that really kind of settled things back down a little bit. But it was a good spot for him to land, a team that's, not great. Get your feet under you, make another start, in that Cubs series, into the Cubs series or whatever, and hopefully start rolling into that month of May and kind of guide this team rotation-wise to where it needs to be. Because overall, again, if there's a lot of little things that's been what's so weird about evaluating this season. It's not just been now the overall starting pitching, the numbers are horrific. But still, there was a good first 2 weeks of the season where they were solid and they were giving themselves chances to win, and then it was the bullpen. So it's just been this combination of everything has just not collectively gotten together at all. Two things are good, the other two are hot dumpster juice. And tonight, almost again, outside of Hader, you were able to have exactly that. Let's talk about bottling this together. Can this continue for the Astros? We'll do that next. But first, I want to tell you about Prize Picks. Have you tried Prize Picks yet? Well, what are you waiting for? I play it every night. I know that a lot of you do. I got a lot of friends that do as well. You're picking more or less on players. It's so much fun. You got NBA action going on, of course. You got all the baseball action going on more or less every single night. I love the strikeout game on more or less on the Prize Picks app, which you should download today, of course, because it is fantastic. But that spring training is over, and we are in full swing now with Major League Baseball season. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your Prize Picks entries, whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, first inning runs. Take your pick of more or less and add them to your Prize Picks entry today. And you can also mix and match your sports across all of them. You could go pick LeBron, Shohei Ohtani, Connor McDavid, Jude Bellingham. Go all the way in. Some of you are saying, who's Jude Bellingham? That's soccer, people. If you don't watch soccer, what are you doing? I'll be up tomorrow watching soccer. Go Chelsea. And guess what? I might be on the Prize Pick app getting my picks in for Cole Palmer. I'm just saying. Of course, again, download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Okay, let's go ahead and start to get through our final thoughts on tonight's win. Thank you again to all of you that have joined us tonight live on YouTube. If you are, again, new to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button on there. I do want to point out I do get the alerts for your comments, and I've got a lot of them in here. And there was one that I enjoyed from somebody said that that Verlander tonight didn't have to have the that's just rude. First of all, the fat catcher catch him. Yeah, hey, you know what? He had Yainer Diaz catch tonight. Who would have known that Yainer Diaz is capable of catching big league pitchers? Well, not Dusty Baker. We had to go through Maldonado last year. Remember when Dusty told us all last year, well, you're going to thank me one day with Yainer. No, we won't. You made him play and only hit 23 home runs when he probably could have whopped about 32 to 33 out of the ballpark if he played 50 more games. But I do thank you for the World Series and for the 4 good years of Astros baseball that you did manage. But I'm not going to thank you for Yainer Diaz not playing. So, yeah, Justin Verlander was able to successfully throw the ball to Yainer Diaz. And look, he had a good outing. Who could have guessed? Wow. Interesting. So we'll see if he continues to go ahead and catch for Verlander in those situations. But the question now is, can the Astros bottle this thing together? Can they continue to get this going? Will this be the start of things? And, like I said earlier, I don't want to sit here and tell you it's butterflies and rainbows and, there's that pot of gold at the end of that rainbow with the leprechaun over there, whatever it is. It's not Lucky Charms. It's a start. You do it again tomorrow, you get me feeling better. You do it all weekend, okay. We're talking about a winning streak at that point. And this team desperately needs a winning streak. And then you get a day off, which this team, now look, again, I mentioned this about the schedule earlier. They went through a tough stretch there, 13 days in a row. And when you're in it, I think it's easy as fans, we get so caught up in the losing and getting mad about everything that you forget when you're going through it as a player. When it's 13 days in a row and you're losing, like, it's hard to get out of it. It's hard to just come to the ballpark and enjoy it at all because you start getting just ticked off all the time, and it affects your performance. They had that day off yesterday. They have another day off on Monday. I think it was Monday. And they have another day off on Friday, which the series is completely weird. Yeah, they're off Monday. They play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in Chicago. Then they're off Friday because they're going to Mexico to play at Mexico City for those two games. So they have a good period of rest here. The ability to be out on the road, little bonding time there in Chicago on Monday, get out and do whatever they want to do in the city, go down to Mexico, have a little fun in Mexico. Don't drink the water. Is that still a thing in Mexico? I don't know. Also, don't eat the beef, right? Because we've seen all the players that pop test for eating tainted beef in Mexico. Just go ahead and eat the catered meals and the bottled water. Let's just stick to that. Let's eat catered meals and bottled water. Should be okay from the 5-star hotel. I think you're going to be all right. But go ahead and enjoy this trip, and hopefully they bond together and kind of get on the right track, because there's been a lot of I've talked about it a lot on these podcasts. The edge hasn't been there that I expected to see at all. There's just a lack of intensity. And tonight, though, even though they've had games where they've won, with big amounts of runs and whatnot and mashed the ball all over the place, tonight was like the most Astros feel to a win I think we've seen yet. Because, again, they had it was only 5 runs, sure. But they spread out 13 hits. They peppered the ball. They kept pressure on the pitching staff the other time. They took really good at bats. I think they had like 26 or 23 foul balls off Mackenzie Gore in the ball game tonight. Like, they made his life miserable. He threw 40 or 90-something pitches, 94 pitches in 4 innings. They knocked him out of the game early. Got 3 runs off of him early. Everything about it was good. The quality of the at-bats all night long was good. They stole some bases. It wasn't just a feast or famine hitting home runs. They doubles, singles, kind of all over the place. And they didn't need all their big boys to go do it. And tip of the cap, too, real quick, for Jeremy Pena. He's off to a blazing hot start. He's first in Major League Baseball multi-hit games so far this year. Good. That's great. I am so happy that, one, he cleaned up his mechanics at the plate, stopped being so noisy up there in the box, and right now it's paying off. We'll see how the season goes. Long time to go, but he looks good so far to start this season. But they did that with the bats, and again, Verlander was really solid, handed it off to the bullpen with a lead, and everything about it just felt a lot more like Astros baseball than I think anything we've seen this season. So I'm going to go to bed tonight in a few hours, and I'm going to be hopeful that tomorrow is going to be a repeat of today against a team that they should be able to repeat this performance against. And then again, you do it again Sunday, and you're talking winning streak. Cubs series will be a little bit more difficult. But overall, happy with tonight. Going to keep a positive mindset that they have a chance to have a very successful weekend and be the team. I'm not going to go sweep on them yet, but look, if you can go ahead and sweep a team after you've been swept a couple times already this season, they kind of need to do it. That'd be great. Of course, tomorrow we'll be back with this postcast after the game finishes, like we are today. 3:05 first pitch tomorrow, so probably in that range of 6 o'clock. Go ahead and set yourself a reminder, whatever. The video will be up well ahead of time. You can hit the notify me button on there to alert you to when it is live. The timing always is set for way far out, and then we just go live whenever the game ends, of course. But, of course, if you're new to the YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. We're creeping towards 500 subscribers already. This is incredible to me. We've been doing this for 2 weeks, and we've got this many. And our numbers on our videos are way high, and that's all because of you guys. And I really do appreciate it every single day. And, of course, if you're looking forward on podcasts, search Locked On Astros wherever you get your podcast, and you can find it there. Thanks for joining me tonight. Talk to y'all tomorrow evening here on the Locked On Astros Postcast.